he was just like a brother, and straight away we laughed and didn't stop laughing for the last 6 years. We started making he invited me down to his place in France, and I set up the drums in his front room when he was asleep, just to get things rolling. And we made a Motown cover. And I went to another room to have a rest after I did the backing track, and I woke up to hear him singing. It sounded pretty damn good though, for home recording.
They say one of the worst types of pain anyone could experience in life is the death of a loved one, and this notion seems to check out in the case of Johnny Depp and Jeff Beck, as the actor is basically devastated about the loss of his best friend. But even amid all of the pain he's currently going through, Depp has still found it in himself to open up about how deep his and Jeff's relationship really was, and let me just put it to you that these men were a lot closer than most people thought. And that's even only where the surprises about their relationship begin. So if you want to get the whole story on these two icons, then stick around till the end of the video. Some people know them as the dynamic duo because of their musical prowess, while others just know them as regular old Jeff and Johnny. Either way, there isn't a single person that knows the pair that wouldn't understand just how much pain Johnny must be in at the moment.
Once you've connected on some sort of level and you become that tight, you practically don't have to say anything. It's an eyeball glance, and you're both on the floor laughing.
Because just like you saw in the video, the relationship between Jeff and Johnny goes far beyond just their music. It was more or less like a brotherhood for the pair, as they did and enjoyed a lot of moments, just as you've just seen yourself. And when I talk about them having a brotherhood, I'm not referring to a bond that just lasted for the good old days. In the case of Jeff and Johnny, they were there for each other at even the worst of times, and Johnny hasn't been shy to talk about it, as he just did here.
There was a couple who very much helped to keep me alive and sane and happy through the weirdness, and that's Jeff and Sandra.
However, one of the most important things that helped differentiate the bond that Jeff and Johnny had built over the years is the fact that the pair were basically able to joke about anything, at any point in time. And even though I know you already heard Johnny himself assert to that fact earlier, you just have to see them do it for yourself. Besides being able to share joyful moments like making jokes about virtually anything, Jeff and Johnny also have a musical bond like no other. And I know this will probably come as a surprise for most people because they know Johnny from the movies. But the thing is that Johnny actually started making music before he even went into the acting industry. That's right, the love for music has always been something Johnny had from the beginning, so him being able to enjoy that with his best friend just made it all the more better. And I know all of these are just words, which is why you just have to see it for yourself. Compelling, isn't it? Well, that's the only way Jeff and Johnny know how to do the brotherhood thing. And one other thing that particularly makes their relationship even more impressive is that the pair are always constantly rooting for each other. Case in point,
Jeff Beck, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jeff Beck, a dog.
you just saw how these two men literally started gassing themselves up in front of a crowd after their performance. However, little did Depp know that the pair only had a limited time together, as Jeff Beck died at the age of 78, devastating his family and friends, which include Depp. The actor is said to have been totally devastated by the loss of Beck to meningitis, which he contracted several weeks before his death. As it was reported to people by a source close to them, Depp was among several rock stars to have visited Beck's bedside while he was ill, with the pair enjoying a strong friendship. The pair made headlines last year as they performed together on stage. and released a collaboration album, but have been friends for many years before that. But when did Jeff Beck and Johnny Depp become friends, and what have they done together? Jeff Beck and Johnny Depp seemingly became friends in around 2017, according to Beck himself. As the pair performed together on stage at the Royal Albert Hall last summer, the guitarist introduced Depp to the stage by saying he had come knocking on my dressing room door about 5 years ago, and we haven't stopped laughing since. Beck made the introduction at the first of his gigs Depp performed in after the Amber Heard trial. Over the summer, he would go on to appear as a special guest multiple times. However, what Johnny felt for Jeff wasn't just brotherly love alone. In fact, you could say it outweighs that by a landslide. What Johnny has repeatedly shown when he's talking about Jeff or just being around him in general has been more of admiration, and the actor hasn't been silent about these views.
It's like Jimmy Page said, there's a lot of great guitar players, and then there's Jeff Beck.
Stars, they come and go.
Over their 5-year friendship, Depp and Beck collaborated again and again, always through music. While Depp himself is an actor, he's also a talented musician, having played with several bands. Beck's official website describes the actor and musician as musical soulmates and explained the pair have been working behind the scenes for the past several years on new music. In 2019, the pals played together at Eric Clapton's Crossroads Music Festival in Dallas, where they first performed a cover of John Lennon's track Isolation. A year later, they would release the cover as the world was locked down due to the pandemic, writing that now might be the right time to let you all hear it. In 2021, during his divorce from ex-wife Heard, Depp reportedly traveled to the UK to stay with Beck, with the pair spending weeks writing music together as the musician worked on a new album. In fact, Depp once revealed that his guitarist pal Jeff Beck very simply and kindly let the actor leave with him and his wife Sandra Cash prior to their Album 18 tour. The Pirates of the Caribbean actor said he could actually be me once he began his tour with Beck after winning the bombshell defamation case against his ex-wife Amber Heard. Depp told Stevie Van Zandt in October 2022, "For me, Jeff very simply and kindly, Jeff and his wife Sandra just took me into their house, and I lived with them for months and months and months. And then we went on the first tour together," Depp added. "So for me, having had to deal with other things at the same time, once those things, are down the road and you drop into the tour, it's like you're home. You are home and you feel at home. Like, where I can actually be me," Depp shared. Then came 2022. When immediately following the conclusion of his legal battle with Heard, Depp flew to the UK to join Beck on tour. He stepped onto the stage in Sheffield to fans' absolute shock, where he and Beck performed covers of Marvin Gaye's What's Going On and Jimi Hendrix's Little Wing, as well as their Isolation cover. The pair then announced they were working on a collaborative album titled 18. That album, released in July 2022, was Beck's final studio album before his death. It featured 2 original songs, penned by Depp, as well as covers of the likes of the Beach Boys, Velvet Underground, and Marvin Gaye. In a statement announcing the album, Beck explained the title came from how youthful he and Depp felt in each other's company. "When Johnny and I started playing together, it really ignited our youthful spirit and creativity. We would joke about how we felt 18 again, so that just became the album title too," he said. Depp, meanwhile, called it an extraordinary honor to play and write music with Jeff, one of the true greats and someone I am now privileged enough to call my brother. Pirates of the Caribbean actor Depp is believed to have visited Beck's bedside shortly before he died from meningitis, along with the musician's other friends and family. A source told People they had a really tight friendship, they were extremely close, and he got even closer over this past summer when they were touring together. The sickness came on really quickly and it all deteriorated rapidly in the last couple of weeks. They added that Depp was still processing this news. He's devastated. Well, Johnny wasn't the only one that was devastated by the news, as several people on social media were also caught totally unaware of the awful news. And what makes it even worse for them is that they had no idea the singer was even dealing with a health condition in the first place. One user who matches the picture I just painted wrote, "Thanks for dedicating your show to Jeff Beck, a great and amazing guitarist. I was so incredibly shocked hearing of his sudden passing this week. He had so many plans to tour together with Johnny Depp in the USA and also again in Europe. May Jeff rest in peace." Safe to say the entire world was shocked by the terrible news, but all we can do now is hope that the singer's family and friends, including Johnny, can find peace in all of this. That's it for this video. Goodbye.